Joined now by the gentleman who was victorious in the UFC 234 main event, Israel Adesanya. Israel, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.
Easy as. What's up, Luke?
All right, man, let's get into it here a little bit. I went back and I watched everything you had to say after the fight, and you actually hadn't even showered at that point. And you told everybody, let me shower, let me download this information. You want to know how it felt? Your answer was it felt cool. All right, you had a moment to shower, presumably. You had a moment to download it, at least a little bit. And I'm assuming you might have even gone back and watched the tape. Now, this far out from the fight, how do you feel about how it went?
Still cool. Still very cool. Still kind of surreal a little bit because when I was watching it myself, there was certain moments I was like, just for me, they're like special moments for me because they were shit that I kind of like already knew and I've seen before many times happen with other Silva's opponents, and I never fell victim to. So yeah, I watched the fight. Uh, I wasn't sure about the second round at first because in the second round there was his only success in that fight was in the second round when he jabbed me. It was like two jabs in a row. So he jabbed me, then I was like, oh shit. And like even before I could like fuck, he just jabbed me and I boom, another one just hit me. And I was like, fuck. And then I was blind in one eye and I was on the fence and he knew it and he was trying to close in. Like the way how I handled that, that was really cool for me. You know, a lot of people would have just, you know, their mind plays tricks on them and they're like, oh fuck. And then they, you know, turn their back or whatever and they fucks them up. Here we go. Yeah, that was the only moment of adversity I had in that fight where I felt like, oh fuck. But yeah, apart from that, I watched the fight again. I was fast, I was quick, my timing was on, I was able to flow, and I didn't hesitate too much. So yeah, I'm happy with the performance. And uh, man, I wish I'd just throw more leg kicks because the shit he does, man. Even my coach knows he hides how he's hurt. He hides it. You know, with when I chopped his leg that one time and he squatted down, that buckled him. And I've done this before, but he tried to hide it with that like taunt. But yeah, he's crafty. He's a veteran, and it was cool to share the cage with him and just have fun. I think we both had fun last night.
Do you look at the numbers of your fights at all? You ever check Fight Metric to see what those tell you? Is that at all a priority for you?
It's not a priority, but it's good to look at. It's interesting to look at. Last I heard was 21 leg kicks at the end of the fight. I think John Anik or Dom Cruz alluded to that, but yeah. Why? What's up? What does it say?
So the second round was pretty competitive. You both actually landed the same number of strikes. Now that doesn't mean the strikes themselves were equal, but for what it's worth, numerically they were the same. So that's going to be a little bit difficult to parse. But what stood out to me was the first and the third round. I mean, not only were you just way ahead of him, but if you look at his overall average in the fight, is significantly below what he normally throws, significantly below what he normally lands. And I'm wondering, was a part of the game plan to just outwork him to the point where he was offensively muted a little bit?
Not outwork him, but out scramble him in the head, out scramble his brain, make him unsure about what we're doing. So definitely, I said it before, he's never fought a striker like me. He's never fought a guy like me. Everyone else he fights just stands there and looks stupid. So I was able to get my footwork right. I was able to get my timing right. I was able to outmaneuver him. I was able to be a step ahead in certain situations. And there was certain strikes even that like literally just like by the whispers. And, you know, it was cool just to see. But like in real time, it looked like they were hitting, you know, but like they just whizzing past. And he's still with it, man. He's quick. My setups were, some of them worked, but not all of them worked. There's one kick I wish I threw. In hindsight,
Which one?
there's one I can't tell you. I can't tell you.
Ah,
I'll say one thing. It's a change up. It's a change up type kick. You know, one of my change ups is my question mark kick because it looks like it's going to the body and stuff, but he was already ready for that. So there's one other one I had in my arsenal that instead of going down the side, it would have gone up the middle. And I was like, fuck, that would have been perfect. So yeah, hindsight's a powerful thing, but yeah, it was just cool just to watch that fight and really I'm gonna watch it again and again and again. This fight I'll probably watch more than the rest of my fights in the UFC. Uh, after the fight, but yeah, excuse me.
no, it's all
I
right.
really, I really want to just watch that fight. Because every time I've watched it twice now, and every time I watch it, I've taken something away from it, from myself, Silva, and from just the whole spectacle itself.
There was some of the narrative after the fight, and at first when I watched it in real time, I was like, yeah, it was more competitive than I thought it was. And again, I think the second round it was pretty competitive for no other reason than numerically the strikes aligned in that way. But the first and third rounds were not competitive. If I asked you if you thought it was competitive, what would you say?
Competitive in the point, to the point that he brought it, yes, but not competitive in the point that he was matching me. Only time he was able to match me was the second round, and that was because he landed a nice jab. Good on him. Credit to him. He landed that nice jab and flicked it again straight away. And it was well timed, and the follow up jab was well timed as well. And he was like, "Oh shit, I gotta get this guy now." So he started to like put the pressure on and put the sauce on, and he brought that energy. I felt that energy, and I was like, "Man, this is how a lot of people can wilt under him. They don't know what to do." And eh, you know, even when he put his hands down, he was kind of like he was expecting me to throw. It was so tempting. I was like, this is how a lot of guys get caught in this genjutsu. He puts his hands down and says, "Hit my face," and I was so tempted. But I like, nah, fuck you. The second time he did it in the third round, I was like, stop doing that. I just said that. I was like, stop doing that. Fuck, because I was like, man, if in my head, I was thinking like, if I fucking land something crazy on you, you're going to sleep. But you know, he can hit the flow state as well. We were both flowing well last night, and it was cool. I'm still like, yeah, it's crazy that happened for me.
Let me ask you something. This might be my American ignorance. I've not traveled to Australia. I've been around the world, but I've never been to Australia. I was surprised they were chanting Silva's name. Now, I understand it on one level with the Australian crowd. Silva's a legend. He's, one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest. I get that they would rally behind him, but I thought, again, forgive my ignorance. You're the reasonably hometown guy, the Kiwi. Were you surprised by that?
Didn't bother me. I'm not surprised because guess what? They want to see me lose. They want to see me lose. They want to see me fall like Rousey did to Holly Holm in Melbourne, the Etihad Stadium. So, this is just another one of those things. And, I think I heard it in the third round. I was like Silva, clap, 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 Silva. And I was like, all right, whatever. Just don't let it doesn't phase me at all. Never, ever even enters my mind. But yeah, it's just normal. Even at the end of the fight, when I was on the mic, they were booing. I found out now they weren't booing me. They were booing what's his name, Kelvin Gastelum, because he was on the big screen. But I didn't see
Uh,
that. So when I was on the mic and I was talking and I just started hearing boo, I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like a lot of guys, blah, come on, why are you guys booing me? I don't need anyone's approval. I tell them to shut the fuck up, tell them where to go. So and I was like, whatever, fuck out of here. I didn't even care. I was like, what the? So for me, I was like, it was confusing. I was like, did I do something wrong? Well, I don't really care. It is what it is. This could have been in Brazil and they'll do, vamos here, and wouldn't even make a difference. So yeah, Silva's a big, big, big name, worldwide, and this is the first time he's actually fought outside of the North America and Brazil in a long time or ever. So for people who are big fans of MMA, a lot of them are big fans of MMA because of Silva, and you know, yeah, it's worldwide. He's affected a lot of people worldwide, and he's got a big support over here. And yeah, I built my own support crew. It's me and my cornermen and my people that came to watch me.
Now you can well imagine you get a big win like that on a big pay-per-view, and your contemporaries are going to have something to say about it. Chris Weidman suggesting on Twitter you were a tad bit overrated. Bohashinya Paulo Costa didn't particularly like the performance. I really hate these sort of cheap questions about like what do you think about it, but on the other hand, I kind of have to ask: do you pay any mind to that?
Yeah, I didn't pay any mind to it, but Chris Weidman, I'm overrated. Okay, why? Because he beat Silva, a little bit more handily than I did. Um, Overrated. Interesting. I could say the same thing about him heavily. And yeah, when I get this belt in my next fight, they can all line up and they can find out how overrated I am. And Chris Weidman, that's his opinion. That's his opinion, and I don't have to pay attention to it. But yeah, overrated. That's interesting. Hmm. What's his name? The Juice Monkey, Paula. Paula. My bitch. What did he say again? He said something that I won the last 2 rounds with him.
Something like
He
that, yeah.
is see Silva. That fight, with me and him was just physical chess on the highest level with striking, because it was just like we're the even if you know about footwork, intricacies of footwork, it was beautiful to watch. Well, a guy like Paula, he's a walking punching bag, juiced up, blown up, and throws body shots and heavy, heavy, heavy. Bring that ass over here. I would test him. Uriah Hall was jabbing him up. Fuck, how the fuck is he gonna hit me with those T-Rex arms? Honestly, if I'm behind those jabs, things that follow up would be much, much different. So yeah, a guy like that, he should just focus on his fight he's got next, Yoel Romero. And yeah, let them talk. I, whenever I ever like, if you ever see me, Luke, talk shit about someone after they fight, like on Twitter they're trying to just get some
Mhm.
shine because I'm behind the spotlight. I don't give a fuck about what these guys are doing. I just give a fuck about me, and I'm living my best life. But anytime I do something, anytime I breathe, these guys tweet, say something stupid. Oh, my opinion. So yeah, Twitter fingers, sit down and keep doing your thing.
Speaking of which, man, we're like literally on the same day a year ago. You made your UFC debut, which you won 5 fights in not in 2018, but since that day, obviously in a 365-day calendar year. Jesus, Jesus Christ, dude, that's a ridiculous work schedule. You've been healthy for all of these. You've made it for all of these. You do media for all of these. On one level, I'm sort of amazed that you're able to do it. On the other hand, is there any way to like reflect on what the last year has meant for your career?
Um, yeah, it's what I do like times like this when I'm alone. My wrestling coach just left now because you know they have to catch their flight. I'm changing my flight, but like in the shower, I got some time alone to myself. And now I'm alone in my room, and I just get some time alone to myself. Or even while he was here, I'm still able to just reflect and just think about everything and just like, whoa, it's kind of getting normal now, but like, cause I've kind of like gotten over the whole thing of me, realizing my destiny and living my dream. But sometimes you still have to stop and just smell the roses and like, man, I'm really doing this shit and be grateful. Because yeah, gratitude's the attitude. I'm very grateful just to live the life that I live. Because a lot of people, they don't get this opportunity. They don't get this opportunity just to like do what they want to do. They have to do stuff they don't want to do, which is work a job they don't want to work. But I get to work in a job where I do want to work and I enjoy what I do every single day. So I'm grateful. Very, 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 very grateful.
Do you worry about burnout?
Mm, See now, I said that like after my third fight. I had my fourth fight and I've had my fifth fight. But my body is different, man. I train smart. I know when to pull the gas and just like pump the brakes. So yeah, right now with Rob, healing from surgery, I'm the number one contender. Make no mistake about it. Don't let anyone tell you different. I fought an unranked fighter because me and Dana had an agreement that I was going to fight for the belt, and he got honey dicked. And yeah, if he had won, I'm sure they would have held up their side of the bargain. But whatever. Me, I'm just going to chill. I've been busy. I get itchy noses every week. So for once, I might actually just relax. I might just chill and just keep just getting better as a fighter, as a martial artist. And yeah, uh, Kelvin and Rob can reschedule the fight, and maybe I'll just fight 3 times this year. I won't fight 5 times. Maybe I'll just fight 3 times. Yeah. I just don't. I don't want to be that champion that fights twice a year. That's not my thing. 3 times a year when I'm champion. That's it. At least I want to pump 3 fights out. So I've had one now. So maybe they're saying April, he might be fine. April, May, June,
You could do
maybe
International
June.
Fight Week.
Yeah, July or International Fight Week. They
Hmm.
fight, and then I'll fight later on after that. Because yeah, like you said, I've been busy. 5 fights in 1 year, so I could keep racking them up. But what's the point? Or maybe I might even do a super fight in the meantime. Ah,
Now let me ask you this: what if they decide? What if Rob can't come back immediately? Obviously, we hope that he does, but let's posit a scenario where he can't. Would you fight Gastelum for an interim title? Is that a thing that you care about?
Why is interim? Like Rob's been this is not the first time this has happened. It's not in his control. Like I said, it's in the control of player one. But he doesn't like look Rockhold as well. Back in he wouldn't make weight. He's unreliable. So Rob is maybe it's because of his training, maybe because of the way he I don't know what his training's like, but I look after myself. I don't know what causes hernias. I've seen, how I've seen like, how they happen and whatnot, but I don't know what causes it exactly. But yeah, I look after myself. I show up, and this is not the first time, he's had to pull up due to injury or something like that. And Dominic Cruz, eventually he got stripped. And so yeah, I think Rob just gets stripped. When he gets healthy, he can be the number one contender. So me and Kelvin fight for the real belt. Fuck the interim. So just strip Rob. We fight for the real belt. When he's healthy, he can come see me.
Hmm. By the way, you mentioned something I thought was fascinating at the post fight presser, which was, what about these points? Now, the points would be in the champion's contract. He did not compete, and you were sort of painting a situation where you were going to pay them out anyway. Why not them go to us? Did you talk to Dana about this? Like, do you think that you should get those dollars since you guys were just all of a sudden thrust into the main event?
Um, well, it's not in my contract yet. So I brought that up because I felt that's a lot of money being left on the table after I've done the work. I look, the numbers don't fucking lie, Luke. Even as you can, I know the UFC have their ways of looking at the system, the backlog or whatever, and seeing what people are really watching. But just go on the countdown show itself, the countdown show which everyone watches just to get hype for these fights. Their ones and the official one itself, because there's two of them that's broken up. So the official one itself got like a couple 100,000. Rob and Calvin got a couple 100,000. I've crossed a million now, me and Silva. It's not just me alone. If it was me and someone else, it probably wouldn't, maybe would have done, I don't know if it would have done a million, maybe like 800,000 or something. But I know with me and Silva together, this matchup, it's gone over a million. So I don't feel like I should get it. I don't feel that Silva should get it. I feel like we should both get it. I don't know what the deal is, what we can sort out, but I sold this fight. I did my job. I hyped this fight up, and not like, I'm not saying hype it up like in some bullshit way, but like I did my job. I showed up, I fought, and before that, the fight was already sold with just the fact that of the magnitude of this fight and the story, the value behind this fight. So yeah, I sold this fight. I did my job, and I feel like, come on, I was already the main event anyway. He just happened to be champion and fighting his number one contender. So we were the fight people wanted to see the most, and I feel people got what they wanted. If they didn't like the fight, they're probably just drunk and don't know shit about striking. So yeah, I feel like, yeah, definitely. The UFC have every right not to give us those points because it's not in my contract or it wasn't in the contract. But fair's fair, and it's not always. I mean, we've always had a good working relationship, so I want to keep it that way. So eventually, we'll sit down with Dana and just talk like, look, okay, what can we do? Because that's a lot of money being left on the table for the hard work that me and Anderson Silva put on. So yeah, yeah, I don't want to leave that money on the table when I feel like it belongs in my pocket.
Yeah, to your point, I did see those numbers, and they were along the lines just as you described. Just last question, and I appreciate your time. Thinking back to your kickboxing days, and now reflecting on the journey to this point, like you keep talking about player one, and like you're in control. You have this sort of control theme generally about the way you describe yourself, and it's interesting. Like when you were in kickboxing, thinking about how it would be when you transitioned over. Did it seem so seamless? Did it go like this in your mind?
Yeah, pretty much. I knew I was going to be the superstar in the UFC. I knew I was going to be one of the new cash cows. I knew I was going to be the guy that everyone wanted to fight. Everyone's hoping. Like when fucking what's his name? What's his name? Sorry. McGregor jumped on the scene and he started getting some shine, and everyone started calling him out. I knew that was going to be me. I knew that was going to be me. So watching someone like McGregor's career, you know, gave me a little bit of a peek into the future. Like, okay, this is gonna happen. These guys, like they're gonna come for you this way, da. And even things like the embedded, Alex who films the embedded. I watching him follow guys around, like Anderson Silva, like Rousey, like John Jones. Seeing it just gave me a peek into like, okay, this is what you have to get ready for. So A lot of other guys just watch those just to get entertained for fights. But for me coming up, I was watching those, preparing myself. Like, okay, you're gonna have to get ready for this. You're gonna have to get ready for 6 a.m. starts. You're gonna have to get ready for. So yeah, that's exactly how I planned. But there's a lot of variables, which I planned for variables, but I just didn't know what they were because they're gonna be random. So I just know how to adapt and overcome. And like I said, I'm grateful for the way I'm handling all this because a lot of people would not handle this the way I'm handling it. You know, and you've seen that a lot. A lot of people rise and then they fall. People want to build them up, watch them rise, and watch them fall. It's a weird thing about humanity. So that's why you see me when I walk out. I don't pay attention to no one. It's me in my corner against everybody else. And it's not being me being an asshole or being me being a nice guy. I know what I'm there to do. Trust me, everyone would have been super happy if finally we just want to see the guy who thinks he's the man. We want to see him fall for whatever reason. And I've been part of it. I've tasted that before, the green-eyed monster. So I can understand it when I see it in other people. And when they come to my face and tell me I'm so happy for you, I can smell it. I can see it. I'm like, you would not be happy for me. You would love it if Silva had chinned me, you know, if he had caught me at one point. And yeah. So for me, I'm always wary of that. I'm always very wary of that. I never get caught up in all this bullshit because a lot of people get caught up in it and think, even Silva told me, don't lose your focus. One of the things he told me in my ear, don't lose your focus. And you can kind of hear it a little bit, like before her being grabbed us away. I said, you know, I understand. I've seen a lot of snakes in this game. I've seen how this game is played, and yeah, not everyone is your friend. He's like, yes, yes. So he's just letting me know, don't lose my focus. Stay on the path of greatness, pretty much. And yeah, trust me, I will fall at some point. But the thing about me is, whenever I fall in my life, personally or professionally, I always bounce back like a trampoline.
I can't add much to that. Israel Adesanya, congrats on the win. Thank you for your time.
I appreciate you, Luke. You're the man.